Hi, this is Jeff Haas with Perpetual Motion Studios. I'm an indie filmmaker and animator located in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, just on the outskirts of Columbus. I've recently completed work on a feature-length animated film called Timekeeper, featuring this little guy, TikTok, a little wind-up robot. And unlike Scratch and Sniff, my hand-drawn animated sitcom, Timekeeper was produced using computer animation, the full CG treatment, much like what you'd expect if you saw a Pixar or a recent Disney film. Of course, I'm using a different software than they are, but the principle behind keyframe animation is pretty much the same regardless of the software that you use, in which keyframe animation and computer animation is very similar to stop motion. In stop motion, I'd have to physically build an actual puppet of TikTok, and then using a film or digital camera for each frame of film, I would have to move TikTok and pose him in for each frame. But for keyframe computer animation, the way you do it, it's baked into the name. It's called keyframing. So a keyframe is very unique poses that I put the character in. The computer will then fill in the blanks between the key positions. So for an example, if right now we're on keyframe 0, if we were to advance to frame 5, I'll start with we'll do part of a little walk cycle. We'll move his body this way a bit, grab that foot, advance another 5 frames. Let's make sure I'm getting him dropping that foot. And see, it's a little bit low. Bring that up a little bit. Normally there would be something he's walking on, the ground or a floor or something, but for sake of for this example, we'll pretend there's a piece of ground there. Advance another 5 frames, move that foot up. Oops. I meant to rotate it, didn't mean to do that. Get down another 5 frames. Bring that body down, bring it forward. That. Close enough. We'll lock the foot in that position for his final step. Sure about that. No, that foot's way too low. So let's clean that up a bit. We can back up here and bring that foot up. All right, so that's about a 30 frame. We can generate a quick preview, and you can see by only filling in a handful of frames, we've got the beginnings of a walk cycle. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish off the rest of the animation and then show you what the final product would look like. Okay, so now I've gone in and I've made a few adjustments to his body, and I've added some arm swing to his walk cycle so you can see what the final result of our little experiment would be. So you can see with a handful of key positions, I've got the beginning of an animated sequence. So this is basically the process I went through in order to create the 90-minute film Timekeeper, which is, it's a very labor-intensive process even with computers, because you're kind of handcrafting the movement and the performance of all the characters. At some point I'll post additional videos with a little more detail about, you know, writing the script, casting the voices, adding lip sync and dialogue to the sequences, moving the camera, all the lighting. There's a lot of details that go into producing an animated film that I'm not going into on this video. This is just intended to give you a, you know, for those of you that haven't already seen this type of thing before, this is how, as a one-man animation studio, I'm able to produce these movies by myself. So I'll have more videos and interesting things for you at a future point, and I will talk to you again. Thanks for watching.